Yeah, he's back at it again. Chapter 2. Mick. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at him with his combos. Oh, yeah. Loads of damage. Alright. So, the little cat gets turned into the big cat, and this is one of them fights where the moment it started happening, I'm thinking to myself, this is gonna be so fucking hard, isn't it? Like this guy is obviously gonna school me. He's gonna tear me to pieces, and I don't know, man. The kit is like compared to some of the other bosses that I'm gonna fight, like in this video, like he's really nothing at all. Like his attacks look devastating, but they've got like really tight hitboxes. I mean that 360 spin obviously like did hit me, but almost no damage. The swipes don't seem to hit me. The dives don't like ever seem to hit me. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I do get hit, but I hadn't really learned his attack patterns. He just keeps missing. You're just going to want to like just keep overwhelming with as much of your kit as possible. You know, like throw things if possible, burn enemies if possible. I tend to always try and burn a lot of enemies. But he's just took so much damage. And I'm still at a part where I'm drastically underleveled as well. The recommended levels for this game are so fucking high. Like, you would have to grind the level in co-op like 3 or 4 times before you'd have enough to catch up with levels. And that's assuming that you don't die in any of those co-op sessions. Big frog. This particular boss, again, wasn't too tough for me, but the reason why this boss wasn't too tough is because at this stage of the game I've itemized my armor really well, and my armor prioritizes toughness, which is just the stat associated with blocking. And it just so happens that if you have really good blocking and really good stamina regeneration, which of course I'm still running the Kato living weapon, you can hold block, release block between his strikes, and then block again before he strikes you again, and you actually will have way more than enough ki to like just basically stay blocking and be able to get a couple of attacks in like afterwards. So basically, this for the way I've built my character, this is my encounter. Like, you'd definitely struggle on this, I think, if you were just only trying to dodge, but yeah, if you're going for like a block build, then this fight really isn't that bad. It's like big swing, stab. A lot of slam down where like underneath him attacks as well. Lots of mobs do that all throughout this game. It's like a mechanic to prevent you from like walking around them and just getting behind them constantly, which is really effective against so many bosses in this game. So many bosses I have fought, and I've just like sort of walked behind them. You just like, you don't hold block, you don't press dodge or anything like that, you just like walk directly behind them, like, because if you're really close to their character model and you're just walking behind them, like, you've got to remember that the amount of time it takes for you to walk in that small circle from the front to the back when you're really close to them, it's faster than their turn-in circle can like turn the character model. And it just means unless they have some kind of like swipe mechanic where they hit you 360 or slam down like that, then they're not going to be able to hit you. That first boss, when you get away from London, the one with the 2 balls, He has a 360 attack. He comes up quite a few times actually. I think I fought like him 6 times or something since that fight on the ship, and he has like what I'd call like a 270 cone. It's like a 360 swipe, but there's like one sweet spot where he doesn't hit you. But if he changes where he faces before he does it, then it will probably still hit you. But it's mobs like that where basically you get behind them and they always do that attack. So it means that you get to hit them like twice from behind and then you have to roll out. But if you get used to the way those particular mechanics work, they're like anti-greed mechanics, I'd call them. You know, you hit an enemy more than twice when you know you hit him in the back, and you're gonna get hit by it. If you can just get used to them though, like 2 attacks and you're out, then it tends not to be too bad. I don't like anti-greed mechanics because they force you to only play like fast attack weapons usually, and you know, I find the game's quite boring if there's only one weapon type that's any good. It's a bit shit. That being said, before the end of this video you will see that lots of different weapons are really viable. As I find out, I get soft walled a few times because of like weapon choice. This boss was a fucking bitch. I had to look up possible strategies and stuff, and I actually found nothing. Like, the information for this boss is pretty poor. Like, I can't remember what element this is that I've equipped. Is it? I think this is Earth. And this isn't a weakness, as you can see. It's doing like no real extra damage there. It's doing some damage, but that's only because she doesn't have a resistance to it. She has like absolute resistances to loads of other things. Like, a lot of the time she has a real strong resistance to fire and such. Like, that was a big bomb then that I just threw it in, almost no fire damage. So many of those attacks where her claws go in the ground, if they hit you, they fuck you up. That attack, if you get hit by that combo there, like at the start, will just chain kill you. And that happens every time at the start of a phase change. It's really, really bad. She's really easy to step behind, but so many of these attacks, if she flicks her claws out from the ground and it hits you, that most of the time that means you're dead. That attack, always dead if that hits you at the start. She is just, you just got to be really patient and try and get those big attacks off, like behind her when she comes at you. Like, when she walks forward like that, you can always just roll behind her and get some damage off. But she's just so it's so chancy whether or not she's just going to hit you with that combo. Because I couldn't find like what was triggering it. It happens automatically once on the phase change, but those slams are so awful. There you go. It's just like some sort of enrage. I'm not sure if it's like the headshot or what that's causing it. As bad as those slams are, and they do hit pretty hard, it's just not as bad as getting hit by the combo. She constantly comes at you as well. She's not a boss that you can stay like stood back. She was hard. It's another side mission, but it's like honourable mention because you've got to like you got to utilise all the side bits of your kit. Much as it is a side mission, this is where using all of the stuff that you don't use necessarily in boss fights comes into play. All of your bombs, your traps, anything like that. Because trying to fight one of these like Tengu warrior types and that slow bitch at the same time, it's just not good. Like, these Tengu are pretty fucking tough anyway. But fighting them while you've got a slow debuff. No, thank you. Not the one. Oh yeah, getting blasted by wind is no good either. I found out much later down the line that greatly decreases your attack power. Can be really useful against some enemies. But yeah, there's a couple of encounters in this game. See that slow buff, can barely move there. There's a few encounters in this game where it just throws two enemies at once at you, and sometimes they're like just like big hard enemies like this, and then other times they're like full-on bosses. You unlock quite a few of them towards the end of the game. I actually forgot about this fight. There's a couple of like human boss fights where I haven't even bothered to record them because the human fights in this game are different to like your big enemy, like your big boss enemies where they're monsters. Like almost all human enemies can be staggered, which changes everything because it basically means that sometimes you are just trying to play around the stagger, but you've still got to learn their attack patterns and stuff. It just means that, like, as long as they can be staggered, it just means you've got one significant advantage to play around. Of course, at this stage, I'm still using the spear, and the spear, while, like, tactical and, like, good for a damage trade, is not so good for the staggering. As you can see, I was, like, hitting it quite a lot there. I know I'm a mid-stance, but, if I was hitting her with, like, any, like, more heavy duty weapon, I would have staggered her so much easily, and then it's just 3 damage, game over. Weapons like the axe and the warhammer, they really excel against human fights, as I'll show you later on. See, when you get that stagger off, sorry, when you get a grab off, due to the fact that they're like broken on stamina, it's just so much better, so much free damage. And then I was looking for the big finish here using some of the special moves that I've learnt, but they're harder to get off than you think, which is a shame. I was really hoping that some of them would be decent, and some weapon sets they are, but a lot of them just aren't good for boss fights. It was like this in Dark Souls, like these flashy moves often aren't good. They can look sick, but they're just there for style points. They're not practical. Get her here. Moments lost there though, because I had to miss like fucking 4 times. Now I am showing you this fight from about halfway through, because you've already seen me fight one of these bitches, but this is to show you how different the like the warhammer and the axes are. You see there, I did the quick weapon switch to the warhammer, and it's all like I've already done like a third of a health, just one big combo, which was all off the fact that I'd staggered her with the weapon, which I wouldn't have done with like smaller weapons. This is what I meant about the game can be totally different with certain weapons. I mean, I'm not saying that a warhammer or an axe like trivializes this fight, but it's just like it opens up a new path by staggering her. It's definitely a good idea to like try different weapons. If you get hardwalled by a boss, like you find that you just can't make progress, then you need to either change stance or change weapon. Definitely try multiple. Don't stick to one style. And learn the traits of each stance. Learn the traits of each stance for each weapon. Like, cause some it's like it's power and range, but they're really stamina inefficient. Others are really stamina inefficient and they attack really quick. They don't hit very hard. Like if you're trying to like apply a status element, then you know you want something that attacks really quickly. This guy killed me so many times, but I didn't feel like he was really tough. But I felt like once he got powered up with lightning, he was a fucking nightmare. And then I realised at one stage, if I just throw these like caltrops on the ground, these like spiky boys, they can slow him, so, like exactly the same as when that like slow witch like hits you with a scarfs. Then he is more manageable. But this is a small boss area, and there's no terrain to exploit here. And so many of these attacks, if he hits you, you are just dead. Got a nice grab there. Just did a fair amount of damage, but you'll notice it's like I'm not, even though I've invested a lot of damage into him, it's not like it's not blasting through him. But if I don't have a fast attack weapon to overwhelm him, he doesn't get staggered well enough for me to justify a big weapon. There's not see there, he's just not taking the like the poise damage. He's not getting staggered enough. I think it's because his armor's like got a really good toughness value. Like he takes way more like loses way more stamina off the attacks that he throws at you than off the damage you do to him while he's blocking. Which just means you've just got to wait for your moment to attack rather than just trying to force him out. Which can sometimes be a bit awful because this lightning shit is not fun. You can't block it. It'll just shred through you with elemental damage. He was pretty fucking tough. Now, if you remember from Dark Souls, bloodstains being everywhere, which is exactly what all these little gravestones are. It's just it's always a sign that something is about to be really fucking solid. And all this is just understanding the way that the spawns work. So these first few enemies are like, you know, the trivial, they're nothing really. These enemies are never hard at all. You just step around the back and just slap them on the booty. That's it. And this particular run, I realised that this one Tengu here. Now, there should be 2 spawning, right? And I think when I activate Living Weapon here, that the other one is already spawned, is on his way. I'm trying to finish this one really, really quickly. What's actually happened is they've got proximity spawns, and this one hadn't spawned yet. So I actually just like pop Living Weapon for no reason, but it's fine because you know, Tengu's not to be underestimated. They will two-hit you a lot of the time. That particular combo there, where they hit you with a round ass kick, like if both things hit you, a lot of the time you're dead. Use the rock for line of sight from the air blast. Yeah, they are tough enemies, and if 2 of them are fighting you at once, that is fucking rough. A couple of times that happens in the game, but yeah, like I say, that one particular time, I just realised where the second spawn hadn't occurred. And if you just don't position yourself really central in the ring, you tend to find that only one spawns. So it's just having that awareness when you go in. Where stuff spawns and like and where it's like relative to you is like really, really important when you're fighting multiple enemies. And in some of the like duo boss fights that you encounter and like for the side missions towards the end of the game, that can come into play and help you. Some of the levels are designed so that you can't do that though, and you just need to find a way to like almost like cheese the first one so that you can fight the second one fair. Now this guy, I give him a lot more respect maybe than he deserves. You fight a lot of these throughout the game. I'm just trying to use as much of my like thrown kit at him before I actually engage him. I'm actually running a little low on elixirs as well. You'll notice by now that I'm using the purification a lot more, the R1, after I've used up used an attack. That's something you're not doing at the start of the game. Throughout the series, obviously, I'm going to be improving generically. So this is the like tutorial mission for unlocking the mystic arts for the axe. Now, all of the other weapons so far, like some of these were a bit of a fight, some easier than others, but this, I mean, this showcases how strong the fucking axe and warhammer is. Like, this is just being given a wooden axe to fight this guy. It shows you how good. Like, obviously it's going to be different again for like proper PvP, but like the bots fighting you as though it's PvP, the axe is so good at dealing with these human fights. So good. Look at it. Flawless victory. First time. And this is the final fight for this video. I didn't have a lot of trouble with this guy. It was, I seem to remember it's like kind of difficult to learn his attack patterns because he was not that tough. He's actually one of the only boss fights where there's a side mission that unlocks towards the end, one of those like duo fights I keep talking about, where you fight him and another boss at the same time. He's one of the only ones that I've done so far. I think you fight him first and then after 40 seconds the second one spawns or something like that. It's pretty quick anyway. And there's where that like green, where the green patch is on the ground there, there's like a little hill that you can run up, and I didn't realise that during this fight, but yeah, you can run up there, and the other mob like takes a little while to pass to you, and he's like, you could just easily like just fight this guy as normal, and then while the second one passes up to you, you might be able to kill him before the second one becomes an issue. The second one again, he's like, you'll see him in later videos. He's tough, but he tires, and then you can damage him. A lot of these, you just got to be wary of like when they power up, and just try to avoid maybe living weapon if they slap you a lot. But see, I'm not even sure what knocked him over then. Enemies like this, it's like, if you're just defensive enough, you just seem to do enough damage to just blaze your way through. It's like that attack, probably not worth blocking. You probably just want to get behind him, but he's just erratically attacking all around him. It's I don't really know what I'm supposed to do. Do I just keep healing and timidly attacking, or do I just try and blast through?